In our current circumstances, most of us don't have access to the technology that we would normally use to shoot packages. But thanks to technology, we have it right here. Most mobile phones have the ability to shoot quality video that is similar in nature to DSLR cameras. In fact, many newsrooms are moving to mobile journalism, where their journalists only have access to camera phones. Mobile journalism, also called Mojo, is growing in popularity. So while the current circumstances aren't great, let's look at it as an opportunity to diversify our portfolios, give us new skills and experiences that can make us more valuable assets within our newsrooms. Mobile technology is a little different from shooting from a Zoom Q8 camera though. So let's talk about a few tips on how to shoot packages using only your mobile phone. The biggest thing to remember when shooting your packages is to shoot your video horizontally. Horizontal video allows it to be captured wide instead of tall, fitting our 16:9 ratio aspects. When you shoot vertical video like you might do for Instagram or TikTok, you get these black bars here on the side. It's not fitting the aspect ratio that we need for broadcast format. So save yourself a lot of trouble and make sure that you're shooting your video horizontally with your phone. But don't forget about the key aspects of shooting that we learned earlier on in the semester. That includes setting everything up in the rule of thirds, making sure you're focusing on framing and headroom of your subjects as well as your video. These concepts still apply regardless of what technology you're using. Another tip, make sure that you turn your phone on airplane mode while you're shooting your video and recording your interviews. Otherwise, you might get interrupted. Be sure to check your battery life too before going into the field or beginning your interview. Otherwise, you might go to black. Remember, for this class, we don't want you to move your camera. Make sure that you're not panning side to side, tilting up and down, or zooming in and out during one shot. Also, remember that camera lenses don't zoom in very well, and so you don't want to be shooting subjects from far away and zoomed in too much because then it will start looking pixelated or granular. Instead, walk up closer to the subject and shoot it closer, and that will give you that close-up shot you need. Remember, try using wide, medium, and tight shots to sequence your video within your package. This will help you avoid jump cuts and flash frames. One of the major drawbacks for using your cell phones to shoot video for your packages is the shakiness aspect of most camera video. Because you don't have a tripod that steadies your camera equipment, it leads to feeling like you're in an earthquake sometimes. Try to set your phone up on a steady surface like so. If you have a pop socket that can go on the back of your phone, that can also help you to hold your camera equipment while you're shooting your video. Another trick, you can get these tiny little tripods off of Amazon pretty cheaply. They're pretty stable and you can set them on most flat surfaces. But regardless of what you use to stabilize your video, just make sure that you're avoiding all of that shakiness that makes you feel motion sick. So try to get it as steady as possible. Another major issue with using your camera phones to shoot your packages is lighting. Camera lenses don't really adapt well in dark settings, and so you really need to be conscious of where that natural light is coming from. Typically, you want to shoot your interview subjects or your B-roll subject with natural light shining on their face. Don't have the natural light shining behind them, otherwise they're going to look like they're in the witness protection program. Instead, you want to make sure that if you're filming indoors, you film near a window with the light coming onto your face. Also, you can use other sources of light, such as a lamp or even cell phone camera lights when possible. You can shoot video just by opening up your camera app on your phone. Remember, on an iPhone, you need to lock the focus and exposure by holding down on the object on which you want to focus. You'll see a yellow box appear around the subject, and then a box will pop up with AE/AF lock to tell you your focus and exposure are locked. If you need to change the exposure, swipe up and down on the sun near the box. This will make it darker or brighter as needed. There are also lots of other apps that give you a little better control of your videography. My favorite for iPhone is Filmic Pro, and a good one for Android is Open Camera. These apps will give you full control over focus, exposure, white balance, and audio levels. Make sure you're paying attention to your audio while shooting your B-roll as well. Natural sound is a very important part of a package. Doing a story on homeschooling, you need to make sure that you get your parent teaching your sibling a little bit of instruction.
Skylar, what's 6 plus 3?
9.
Great job.
You could also get a lot of keyboard typing or mouse clicking to emphasize distance learning. And of course, no homeschool story would be complete without a little bit of children screaming, running around, acting crazy, and maybe even singing.
Into the night.
So make sure you're paying attention to your audio while you're shooting your story, because natural sound is an important part of making the story a little more realistic. And that's the basics of mobile journalism. Remember, there are entire newsrooms who work solely using mobile camera phones. So if they can do it, you can do it too. And one of the great parts about having your technology right there in your hand, able and willing and easy to use, is that if you get something wrong, you can just shoot it over again and keep trying until you get it right.